May 29th, 1453. The walls that had protected a civilization for 1,000 years were finally breaking. Constantinople, for 1,100 years, the greatest city on earth, the last beating heart of the Roman Empire. But outside its walls, the largest army the world had ever seen had arrived. The Byzantine Empire was once the most powerful empire on earth, the direct continuation of ancient Rome itself. At its heart stood the Hagia Sophia, for 1,000 years the largest cathedral on earth, a monument to human greatness. But by 1453, the empire had shrunk to almost nothing, from ruling 3 continents to barely controlling a single city. Emperor Constantine XI had only 7,000 men to defend the city. Against what was coming, it was almost nothing. Across those walls stood Sultan Mehmed II. He was just 21 years old, and he intended to finish what no conqueror had ever managed. Mehmed had built something that had never existed before, a cannon so large it took 60 oxen just to move it. His army of 80,000 soldiers stretched across the horizon, the largest military force assembled in that century. Inside Constantinople, Emperor Constantine knew the truth. Help was not coming. His city would stand or fall alone. On April 6, 1453, the great cannons opened fire for the first time. The sound was heard 15 miles away. Inside the city, the population watched in horror. The walls that had never fallen were cracking. For 53 days, the cannons fired, day and night. The ground shook without stopping. Sections of the ancient wall that had stood for 1,000 years began to collapse. For the first time in 11 centuries, there were gaps. Mehmed then did something that seemed impossible. He dragged 70 ships overland across a hill to get behind the city's sea defenses. When dawn broke, the Golden Horn was full of enemy warships. The defenders couldn't believe their eyes. Constantine's men had been fighting without rest for 53 days, exhausted, outnumbered, but still holding. The night of May 28th, Mehmed gave the order. Tomorrow, the final assault would begin. Inside the city, Constantine and his people gathered in the Hagia Sophia for a final prayer. Many knew they would not see another dawn. Constantine XI removed his royal robes. He would fight as a soldier. The last emperor of Rome chose to die defending his city. May 29th, 1453. Before dawn, the Ottoman drums began. The final assault on Constantinople had started. The Byzantine defenders at the breached walls looked out at what was coming and stood their ground anyway. The fighting at the walls was the most brutal in the 53-day siege, but the defenders were too few, too exhausted, too alone. Then came the moment that ended an era. Ottoman soldiers pushed through the breach. They were inside the walls. Constantinople, the eternal city, fell on the morning of May 29th, 1453. The Eastern Roman Empire was over. Mehmed II rode to the Hagia Sophia. He dismounted. He placed his forehead on the ground in prayer, then entered as a conqueror. Constantinople was now Istanbul. The Eastern Roman Empire, which traced its line directly back to Julius Caesar, was gone forever. The fall sent shockwaves across Europe. Scholars fled west, carrying ancient Greek knowledge. The Renaissance had its fuel. Constantinople became the new capital of the Ottoman Empire. One of the most powerful empires in history was now born. The Ottoman control of Constantinople blocked Europe's trade routes to Asia. Europeans desperately searched for a new way east, and accidentally found America. The fall of Constantinople is considered the end of the Middle Ages. One city's fall changed everything that came after. The ancient Byzantine walls still stand in Istanbul today. You can walk along the very stones that Constantine's men defended to their last breath. The Strait of Bosphorus, the narrow water that Constantinople controlled, still connects Europe and Asia today. A reminder that geography never changes. Only who controls it does. A civilization that lasted 1100 years, gone in a single morning. Remember what was lost and what was found. Next on EpochFire, 300 men, 1 million soldiers, the narrow pass that held the world.